So pay attention to how you feel immediately after consumption, like within 10 to 15 minutes after eating. Take an inventory check. Like Tyler said, sit back and listen to your body. Have I got a headache? Am I feeling a little more stiff and achy in my hands? Is my stomach just a little bit unsettled? Like your body will talk to you. We just kind of blow it off, but your body will talk to you. Your body is very smart, and you personally are very intuitive. And we tend to we don't like to admit it, right? Because nobody wants to give up their nachos, when they're going out with friends. But sometimes it might be something small. You might need to have pork nachos instead of beef nachos, or whatever. But listen to your body. You are the expert of you. And if we don't say that enough on this podcast, we need to. You are your best advocate, and you are the best expert of you. And obviously, we want you to seek guidance, from people that can help, give you direction and give you resources, but always listen to your own personal internal guidance, because your body knows. I mean, I know the things that bother me, and I know the things that I'm totally fine with too. So, and sometimes it can be something small. I had a girlfriend that said that she couldn't have lactose at all. And I said, okay, that's fine. But I happened to make my famous ice cream that I was just talking about earlier. And she's like, oh my God, I just have to have some. And she actually had a little bit of my homemade ice cream. And she said, you know what? That didn't upset my stomach. And I said, well, when I make my homemade ice cream, I make it with 100% organic milk and 100% organic cream, 100% organic half and half. I use organic unbleached sugar, and I use pasture raised eggs, and my vanilla is organic. Like everything I put in my ice cream is organic. And she said, oh my God, I wonder if it's not that I'm lactose intolerant, but I'm intolerant to some of the preservatives and things that are in your traditionally bought dairy products. And so it can be very, like I said, it can be very like, oh, I didn't realize, because they expected to have a reaction to my ice cream and they didn't. And of course, my ice cream is filled with love and joy because I love to have friends and family over and make it. So there's a lot of energy behind it as well. That's really positive. So that's a tangent in another place. So, all right.
Yeah. I just want to underline one thing that you said really quick before we go on to the next part.
Absolutely.
It's not about doing a complete overhaul. Like you are the expert of listening to your body. You are intuitively more aligned, in tune with what's going on inside of you than anybody else outside of you could be. And you could probably identify a few things that you could do for your health, right? Like you're probably like, oh man, I'm not sleeping well. I'm eating canned tomatoes and all these things. It's not about making all these changes at once. Just pick one that you feel like you could do right now. It's not a matter of picking the best one or the thing that's going to have the biggest impact. It's like, of all the things you could do right now, which one do you feel the most ready to do right now?
Yeah.
And pick that and do that for some time until it becomes a habit. And then the next thing will be the most obvious to you, right? So there's not this stress of just being perfect or fixing everything. I tend to, like, as health coaches, I don't know about you, Stephanie, but for me personally, I don't want to think about a bunch of different things at once, right. I tend to just focus on one thing at a time. I continue to do other things because I've created habits, and I let some things drop off and kind of backslide a little bit at times while I focus on another thing. But I don't like thinking like, and I've got to do this. I've got to put my phone away an hour before bed so I have my hour of no electricity before bed. Right. And I've got to make sure I food prep, and I've got to make sure I'm drinking enough water, and I've got to make sure I'm going to the gym, and make sure I'm taking my supplements. It's like, no, for the next 2 weeks, I'm just hyper focused on making sure I'm taking all the supplements that I've agreed to for this time.
Right. Yeah.
And I know the rest of the stuff I'll continue to do out of habit, and some things may slip, and that's okay. I'll come back to them.
Yeah. And it is truly baby steps. Oh my God. If everybody wants the quick fix and they want it fast, but it is absolutely the baby steps that lead to the sustained change. Because Tyler, you couldn't be more right. You talked about, and I got to get to bed, and, I have to turn all my electricity off an hour before I go to bed. How about we just start with 10 minutes? How about we just start with 10 minutes? And instead of adding 8 cups of water a day, if you didn't drink any, how about you just start with 1? It is shocking how different 1 cup of water a day can be for somebody who doesn't drink water at all.